First and foremost, before we get started, I just want to apologize to everyone who may or may not have been waiting on me to do my reaction to the newest Jujutsu chapter. First and foremost, I did not create my thumbnail, nor was I prepared fully to just go right from One Piece into my reaction to Jujutsu because I didn't even create anything for it. Firstly, let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. Yo, peoples, Kyushu92 here, and welcome to me reacting to Jujutsu Kaisen after spending my past stream for it, which was 6 hours long, catching up to every single chapter of Jujutsu up to its most current chapter. But like I was saying, apologies for making you all wait for me to eventually get to this reaction because I didn't create my thumbnail for it, nor the exact way. Like, for me, it's a certain thing that has to resonate with me in order for a thumbnail to work. So I didn't want to use like any fonts or any thumbnails or any specific designs from previous things that I've done in order for me to make this thumbnail and do things for Jujutsu. I had to find one that just resonated with me and made sense to me. So that's why it took me so long in order to do this thumbnail, in order to get started on this chapter. I don't want any streams that I do, as far as my manga reactions are concerned, to look too similar, as far as thumbnails are concerned, to each other. So I'm very particular. It's a weird quirk, I know, but I'm very particular about presentation when it comes to placements for you guys. So let's go ahead and get started with today's chapter. And Jujutsu is going on break, so it's like we got One Piece hitting on a Monday next week. My Hero Academia should be hitting on a Monday as well. And Jujutsu is just flat out going on break, so it's not going to show up next week at all. So, just to give a little bit of a recount as to what happened in the last chapter, it was basically Maki wrestling with the sumo dude in order to free her mind, because currently Naoya Zenin has come back as a cursed spirit, and using his new body, he's been using his inhuman speed in order to assault Maki, Noritoshi. And speaking of Noritoshi, in the past I used to think that Noritoshi Kamo was the one who was behind every single thing that's evil, but the name of the big bad for this story is Kenjaku. So if I say Noritoshi Kamo, I mean Kamo from the Kyoto school. And if I want to reference and talk about the big bad of the series, then I will say Kenjaku. I know I've said it a lot of times during my previous streams, me catching up to the chapter, but it didn't exactly make sense in a way where the way I did it made it kind of confusing for people. But in the last chapter, Naoya Zenin has come back as a cursed spirit, and Mio, who is the sumo guy, while Darty, I forget his name, not Durden, but the other guy, the samurai guy, is the only one who's capable of successfully hitting Naoya, even though he cannot see Naoya. And Maki is trying to find out how he's able to do that, so she's able to combat Naoya in his new form and his speed. And during the last chapter, in chapter 196, it had Maki training and going through like a sumo match, because Mio's domain expansion is like a simple domain, but it allowed her to get some training in, but also allowed her to free her mind, so she is now mentally capable of taking on Naoya. Because Mio says in chapter 196, at the moment of impact, everything that led up to entering the ring flows into the combatants. It's like smelling light or seeing sound. You sense everything about your opponent and yourself, and then the body before your eyes, and even victory and defeat themselves become meaningless. In other words, the samurai was talking about freedom. And then, after she's done training with the guy, she pretty much comes out of the simple domain, seeing that she's beaten Mio, and now she says she's at her best. So let's get started with chapter 197. Don't expect this to be as long as my One Piece one. Chapter 197, Sakurajima Colony, Part 7. And then everyone is looking at Maki, and her entire countenance, like her entire vibe, everything about her mood and body language has fundamentally changed like it was before. And Noritoshi is going, she's totally changed. What could have happened inside that domain in such a short time? And then the samurai, the reincarnated samurai culling game member goes, It's like she suddenly grew. Did that kappa do something? And then Naoya, the cursed spirit Naoya, just looks on. Then we continue on. We get narration. As the result of the binding vow being removed, time flows faster in Mio's barrier. The time it takes for over 1,000 bouts inside the domain is less than 1 minute outside the barrier. And then Naoya just looking at this and thinks, who cares? And then rockets into the air. Now, the thing about this is, the way Mio's barrier works, it functions the same way. You even forgot Kamo's name. Yeah, his name is Noritoshi. His name is Noritoshi Kamo. Everyone just calls him Kamo. So he was pretty much named after the most heinous jujutsu sorcerer in history. But the name of the big bad's actual name of the big bad is Kenjaku. D-Struck, good to see you. But, as a result of the binding vow being removed, time flows faster in Mio's barrier. So basically, his barrier functions like a hyperbolic time chamber. I was about to call it time pawn because of what's going on with Arthur in the beginning after the end. But Mio's barrier basically functions similar to the hyperbolic time chamber. Because the time it takes for over 1,000 bouts, 1,000 fights inside of his domain, less than 1 minute passes outside the barrier. So his barrier, in a way, pretty much kind of transcends time and space a little bit. Because inside that barrier, you could just train for 1,000 fights in less than a minute. Can you imagine how much training you can get done in an hour inside of his barrier? That's pretty expansive. But now you just thinks, who cares? And then rockets into the air and then closes up all the orifices in his body as he prepares to do that sound barrier speed level headbutt that he used, like his ramming attack that he did before, that actually caused Maki to get hurt and draw blood. And it cuts to Noritoshi thinking, he's backing up and gaining speed. It's the same attack as last time. And the samurai guy gets ready. Now, mind you, the samurai dude, whose name escapes me right now, he already knows how to hit Naoya, even though he can't see cursed spirits. He sees everything around him. And thus, by his own words, by him seeing everything around him, he can see what's not in front of him and hit it. He functions like Chad before Chad started to gain more spiritual power in Bleach. But the samurai dude goes, I haven't slashed it enough. And Mio goes, and I haven't done enough sumo. And then it cuts to Noritoshi goes, are they cooperating? Players who've incarnated. Who are you two? And then it cuts to both Mio going, huh? Who knows? Who we are doesn't matter. Yeah, goes Mio. And then the dude goes, I hold a katana and cut what I want to cut. Others can think what they want about me. I want to rescue that girl more. You want to wrestle too, samurai guy? No. Were you asking dumb questions? That girl got ahead of me. And then it cuts to Naoya going, why? I should be overwhelming you with speed. Why can't I catch you? Wow. Wow. So the training that Maki did inside of Mio's barrier has basically caused her to get rid of any restraints that were on her. And now, even though Naoya has become a cursed spirit who's even faster than he used to be when he was human, he can't hit Maki. This dude who can move at sonic speeds, can break the sound barrier easily, is not able to hit Maki. I should be overwhelming you with speed. Why can't I catch you? And it shows Naoya speeding across the ground with such speed that he's ripping it apart, going across glass panes with such speed that he's ripping it out. I thought someone called me. Like my videos, how do I get these comics? I'm reading from the official Viz site. But if you guys don't want to read from the official Shonen Jump Viz site, then just a simple Jujutsu Kaisen chapters will bring up what you guys want to see. But as I always say, support the official release. But Naoya is moving at such speed, he's ripping apart window panes. And then Maki's in a free fall. And this kind of surprises Naoya as Maki's thinking, everything around me will tell me how Naoya will move. Without glasses, I couldn't see what others were able to see. I gained this body thanks to Mai, and now I can see curses without glasses. Wow, she really has no need for glasses anymore. I was satisfied to be like everyone else. That person would have reached that person would have reached that height. That person would have thrown a katana without hesitation. That person would have been able to handle everything at that high speed. It isn't enough to be like everyone else. Something only I can see. Something only that person could see. That exists. And then it cuts to Naoya trying to hit Maki at high speeds, and then he goes, I have you now! And then Maki just casually dodges out of the way. The dude, she's in midair. And she casually dodges this dude who's traveling at speeds that can rip the ground up in his wake. She just casually maneuvers around him in midair. Did she dodge in midair? What the heck? And then it cuts to Maki, who's just embracing being able to see the environment around her and feel the presence. The atmosphere around us may seem empty, but differences in temperature and air density create scattered surfaces. I just need to seize them. And then in one smooth motion, she's directly behind Naoya and sends him flying towards the ground. Of course, he rights himself and hovers above the ground and goes, I am a cursed spirit. Hit me without cursed energy all you want. And then it shows Mio, the barrier user, the barrier guy, the sumo guy, standing right next, preparing to hit Naoya, going, Kappa Rokujushi! And hits Naoya directly in the face. And then, off to the side, the samurai guy, using the cursed tool that Maki had, slices Naoya through his head. And then it shows his head trying to, regenerate. But it's not working because the cursed tool that's being used against him pretty much makes it so that he can't regenerate his head being severed. Why you? And then Maki comes in behind and kicks the upper half of his head straight off of his shoulders. Now, mind you, Naoya's body is not normal. It's that of a cursed spirit. It's like completely encased with a skull-like protrusion in the front, with multiple tentacles coming out of the different orifices of his body to serve as his, limbs. Maki basically just kicks the top half of his head off onto the ground, and it just falls with him thinking, impossible, 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 impossible! Why? And as he looks at Maki, he sees Toji Fushiguro in front of him, like, he sees Toji Fushiguro. And then out of the stump of the bottom half of Naoya's cursed body, We see actual human hands come out, which surprises Mio, which surprises the samurai guy, whose name still escapes me, and surprises Maki, as Naoya Zenin and his full human body comes out of the lower half of his cursed spirit body that he came in as. And he screams, "The one who stands with them is me! Domain expansion!" So this dude is so angry, so upset to die. So angry that Maki is surpassing him, that he's so conceited that he thinks that the only person who can stand with the high members of the Zenin family, and even that of Toji Fushiguro, he sees himself as the only one who stands with them. He cannot stomach the fact that Maki is not only able to keep up with him at his cursed spirit speed, but also the fact that she may in fact be able to surpass him. This causes him so much anger that his human side comes out of his cursed body and casts a domain expansion. And then the chapter ends. I'm so happy I'm able to catch up to Jujutsu Kaisen now and read these chapters as they release. I'm so happy that I'm able to catch up to everything. Just finished my 6-hour stream. It was perfect. Nico W, thank you. Thank you. It took a long time. It's not as long as my 9-hour recap of the Zou, Whole Cake Island, Wano, and Reverie arcs of One Piece, but I'm glad I was able to take all of those hours. I'm glad I was able to take all of those hours and fully catch up to Jujutsu so I can bring it to you guys. Ogata-san, he's kind of turning into Noitora. Yeah, he is. He can't stomach the fact that someone's stronger than him. Like Noitora, he couldn't stomach the fact that Nell was stronger than him. Then, years later, he gloats over the fact that he's basically stronger than Nell because of Nell's injury that causes her to regress into like a childlike state. So he gloats over that. But then he comes face to face with Kenpachi, and then still can't stomach the fact that he's been fighting a weaker version of Kenpachi the first half of the battle, and doesn't like the fact that Kenpachi just kept getting stronger and couldn't stomach someone being stronger than him. Again, Naoya Zenin is exactly like Noitora. He sees himself above everyone else, sees everyone past him weaker, and then cannot fathom the thought that someone could in fact surpass him. And this is a driving force for him so strong that this is actually the first time that we've seen a cursed spirit. We've seen an actual cursed spirit who used to be human go from being like this big caterpillar type cursed spirit, then turn into like this carapace with a skull in front, and then go back to being human again, because this dude is just too angry to die. Not only that, now he's about to use a domain expansion, and who knows what it's gonna do. Given his affinity for speed, and given what we know about domain expansions, the majority of the offensive types tend to have can't always hit type techniques in there. Who knows what this domain expansion is going to do to those caught up in it? Now, will it have an effect on Maki? I don't know, because she's just now releasing her mental limits that have been holding her back ever since she gained this power due to my sacrifice. I don't know what this technique is going to do. I don't know if Maki just now awakening to her freedom, her bodily freedom that allows her to fight on par with this high-speed Naoya. Don't know how effective it's gonna be with this new domain expansion, but it ought to be interesting. Now, real quick, first and foremost, let me save this page here, so that way I have another way of making more thumbnails for Jujutsu. Let me come up to Naoya Zenin. Let me pull him up, and let me just go down to his personality. So, personality. From a young age, Naoya was always told was always praised, told by others that he was a genius. He's a spoiled brat. He was severely spoiled as the youngest and most promising of the Naobito's children. Something just flew in my room. Dang it, I hate these gnats. My room is clean. The whole house is clean. Why is it in here? Someone left the door open. Now, don't worry, I'll find it. He was severely spoiled as the youngest and most promising of the Naobito's children, conditioned to view himself as his father's successor. He's so spoiled that he sees no other people who are capable of being a successor other than himself. Even going as far as wanting to kill Fushiguro because he was named in the will to be the new successor of the Zenin clan. As a result, Naoya's arrogance grew to unbridled levels even as a small child. He looked down on all those he views as weaker than him, which is the vast majority of the people Naoya came across. The only person Naoya ever appeared to have any respect for was Toji. He went to visit him as a child to mock the pitiful man without cursed energy, but was instantly able to recognize Toji was extremely strong in spite of that. This led Naoya to embrace the ideology that the sin of the insignificant is the ignorance of true strength. Naoya felt he was one of the only ones who understood Toji and strived to be as exceptional as him. Naoya confidently pursued strength to the point where he viewed everyone else as inferior to himself. This is the reason why he comes crashing out of his own cursed body, is because he can't stomach the fact that someone else could be in the same league or even surpass him. He refused to acknowledge anyone's talent, referring to his elders Jinichi and Oji as weaklings despite their experience as senior members of the clan. Naoya's reckless and conceited attitude irritates even his fellow clansmen to the point where Ogi and Jinichi attacked him for being excessively pompous. Raised in an environment that breeds superiority, Naoya developed several sociopathic and narcissistic tendencies and strongly embodied all the stigma about the Zenin clan. He has no family values whatsoever other than trying to outdo everyone to become head of the clan. He didn't express any amount of concern for Naobito, his father, on his deathbed, and has said more than once that he hates all his older brothers as well. Naoya views women only as wives and casually told Maki and Mai's mother that a woman who can't walk 3 paces behind a man should be stabbed in the back, which is pretty much what happened to him when Maki's mother came in and stabbed him in the back, killing him, and due to his overall negative energy and pretty much the negative energy of the Zenin clan, brought him back as a cursed spirit. It's funny how those same words came back to literally bite him in the back. Upon learning that Megumi usurped him for the head of the clan, Naoya didn't hesitate to plot a way to kill him. Naoya was well aware that his clansmen might prefer Megumi to himself, but didn't care at all for their approval. He had no issue attacking Megumi's allies in an attempt to draw him out and was willing to kill them in order to do so. Naoya set his pride aside momentarily to work alongside Yuta Okotsu, but only did so to achieve his own self-serving goals. Even after Yuta checked on him after his loss to Choso, Naoya was irritated when the young man was looking down on him. Dissatisfied with his plans going awry, Naoya took out his irritation with Maki and mocked her repeatedly upon her return to the Zenin clan's property. He called her scum, taunted her for her scars, and devalued her as a person, not only for her appearance, but for her inability to use jujutsu as well. So the dude is just a straight up tool. He called her a lapdog for following, and this isn't the synopsis I'm reading. This is his personality. All things that involves his personality, so everyone can understand why this dude is just too angry to die, and what literally drives him. He called her a lapdog for following Yuta and Megumi, and threatened to abuse his own cousin in the same manner he used to bully her in the past. Upon learning of the Jinichi and Ogi's refusal to leave Megumi the family fortune, it was confirmed that Naoya was not the clan's first choice. This irritated Naoya, but he was fine with the conspiracy to get rid of Megumi, Maki, and Mai so long as it served him in the end. Mai sacrificed herself in exchange for granting Maki a body with power comparable to Toji. As Maki massacred her way through the Zenin clan, Naoya didn't show the slightest hint of distress for his family members. In fact, he was amused by Maki's power and simply teased her for being so ruthless. Naoya refused to acknowledge Maki as being in the same realm of strength as Toji. Told you. That is a title that Naoya desired, and he fought Maki to deny her that more than he did to avenge his own clan. Up until the moment he was defeated, Naoya remained in denial and referred to Maki as nothing more than an imposter. Even after being brutally bested by Maki, Naoya mocked her for not finishing him off. However, fate's sense of irony came for Naoya in the form of Maki's mother stabbing him in the back, just as he said women deserved. As Naoya was losing his life in such a pitiful manner, all he could do was use his last words to insult his assailant. So, that is the entire personality of Naoya Zenin. And now we are face to face with Naoya Zenin coming back to his human body somehow. Simply because he cannot fathom the fact that he's being bested. Not only was he bested in his human form, but he was also bested in his cursed spirit form, which was more powerful than his human form. So right here we have the thing. Let me see. Before you try to strike her up against the wall, there is a twist face. Okay, so it hasn't caught up to this chapter. It hasn't caught up to the most recent chapter. So let me see if I can find that real quick. Someone said something. Hold on. Let me see what you said. Did I know that there's a Demon Slayer? Did I know there is a Demon Slayer spinoff called Stories of Water and Flame? I did not. I did not know this, Beast Team. I'm going to have to look into it. But let me pull up the most recent chapter. And go down to 197. All right, so they got... Oh, wait, they don't even have the full plot details here. Okay, so we can only go off of what the chapter basically said to us. So, not only... Hey, family's back. So not only is Naoya Zenin still alive as a cursed spirit, but even after having his head severed, he's just too angry, so he transforms back into his human form, like erupting out of his body, proclaiming that the one who stands with them is me. He sees himself as the one who's superior amongst everyone above them. Everyone above everyone who's in this fight right now. And then he releases a domain expansion. Oh, I know we're going on break for Jujutsu, but I'm looking forward to the next chapter. I am really looking forward to the next chapter. But let me not keep you here any more than I already have. Beast Team, I will look into this Demon Slayer spinoff called Stories of Water and Flame. And if I am able to add it, if I am able to, fit it into my schedule, I mean... September is actually pretty open because there's no games I'm looking forward to. October is going to be busy because of Bayonetta, and November is going to be busy because of Sonic Frontiers and God of War Ragnarok. But September might be pretty empty. So if I don't do anything else this week, then I'll probably check out Stories of Water and Flame. I'll definitely check out those. If it's a manga, if it's like a light novel or something, then I may just read that on my own time. But I'll have to see. But overall, I enjoyed this chapter. And... good lord. Maybe he can control the frames per second, usually 24 frames per second if you remember right. No, you're remembering correctly. That's the limits of what his curse technique can do. Because if I pull up Naoya and then go down to his abilities, he has the exact same abilities as Naobito Zenin. Projection, yes. Yes, it's exactly that. It's a projection sorcery. Inherited his father's innate technique, allowing him to turn 1 second into 24 frames and trace a predetermined set of movements using his field of view as the angle of view. So that's what he can do, but we're just gonna have to see. We're just gonna have to see what this domain expansion turns into. Take care and congrats, Kyushu. You're officially a weekly Jujutsu Kaisen reactor. I am so glad. I'm so happy that that I'm finally able to read Jujutsu Kaisen weekly. And not just like gone are the days of me trying to catch up. I'm done catching up. I'm fully caught up to everything Jujutsu now. So I'm looking forward to when we come out of break for this. But that's all I got. I'm going to see if the family needs help because they probably need to get their bags taken inside. So I'm going to go down, see if I can help them out. All I can say at the end of the day is, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member, because all of those things really do help me out in the long run. Because I am, did I say that? Maybe you should become a member. Because I am always, sometimes when I add in these little words, I mess up my entire outro. Y'all are seeing me mess up my own outro live. Because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. Stay healthy. Oh, trust me, I will. My dad is just coming out of a cold, so all of the more reason to, stay safe out there. And not just me. You guys stay safe too, because I want to see you again.